You want to be with someone else. You want to get affection and love from someone else. And I'm the merciful one. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right. So are we guilty?
Yeah.
Yes, we are. Did we break faith with Yah?
Yes.
So do you think going to another religion and going to, we're not a religion, but going to another God and signing a new agreement, a new covenant, do you think signing a new covenant with him, with another God, with another name, that you drink his blood and eat his flesh, do you think that's going to get you out of your guilt? Do you see why people are taking this deal? When did the Creator say, I'm going to go ahead and give you a new agreement, so, and while you're in your exile? He never said that. We're guilty. So as a result of this breaking faith, because that's what we've done, he says, so that I hid my face from them and handed them over to their adversaries, and they fell by the sword, all of them. Yes, I treated them as their uncleanness and crimes deserved, and I hid my face from them. When Yah hides his face from Israel, there is no blessing. You do not reward your children when they go and disobey you. You don't go out and buy them a whole bunch of gifts and say, here you are for disrespecting me. Your wife cheats on you. Do you go out and buy her a diamond ring and a fur and a brand new house and say, come here, this is for you being with another man? You reward bad behavior? You understand? We are guilty and we're unclean. And we're only getting what we deserve. Yah pays people back for what they deserve. And if we're that stupid and that dumb, he says, well, if you guys are going to act that way, your kids are going to suffer for your behavior, your actions. You don't want to go to work and get a job and take care of your family. Your children will not have anything to eat. And whose fault is that? It's your fault. You want to go ahead and have an affair on your wife, guess what, and have other kids, then your children are going to suffer, and so are they. You see, Yah pays people back. I treated them. Their uncleanness. What is uncleanness? Oh, that's right. Everything that we did, we like to mix. That's what we like. We like to mix. We like to mix. We like to mix everything, the clean with the unclean. We want to take the Hebrew language and we want to mix it with the Greek, and then we'll have what they would call a tossed salad. We want to mix meats together. You understand? That's what we've done. But Yah has said, I've hidden my face from them. So a lot of us find our way to go to a temple or a tabernacle or a house of prayer. And when you get there, they tell you how much he's with you. They don't tell you he's hid his face from us. He's with us. You won't get a disease. He's with you. You won't get sick. You won't get COVID. That is a lie. You won't be touched if you keep the commandments. That's a lie. That is a complete lie. When you are in, this is why people lie to you, because they want you to feel better about yourself. Because if you don't follow, the only reason why people are following God or try to follow, think they're following Yah, is because they believe that they're blessed.
Wait, it's not magic?
Oh, it's magic. It's not magic. This is reality, people. This is reality. And here's the reality: bacteria. It exists. Do you understand? I was criticized, just on a side note, because I told everybody, no, We're not Christians, so we don't go into that exclusive like deal like you can't be touched. You don't get bit by a poisonous snake and think that you can just shake the snake off like Paul did. It doesn't work like that. And guess what? Everything that I said came to pass. People got sick and got the COVID. Not a few, a whole bunch of them. But I thought you said that the Torah, if you kept the Torah, then nothing can happen to you. We stand strong. That is a lie. Do you understand? People will lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to tell you the truth because that's what Yah called me to do. And that's what I'm going to do. 25 says, therefore, Yahweh Elohim says this. Now, remember, we're talking about his name, the one who's merciful and compassionate. Now I will restore the fortunes of Yaakov. I'm restoring the fortunes of Yaakov. When after I finish doing what I'm going to do, after I can them to the adversaries, after I stop hiding my face from them. So if his face is hidden from us, that means we don't have any fortunes. Do you and I have fortunes right now? Do we? As a people? No. Did he say I'm going to restore the fortunes of Israel? This is this guy. His name means the heel. It means the restrainer. He's the wrestler. He's the one who's been wrestling with Yah. The restrainer. This is the guy that wrestles with Yah all the time. Why is my pen not working? My son is a wrestler. Went to state and everything. Won all kind of championships. First, second, third. Lost a lot, won a lot. We got awards for getting the number one takedowns. And he would grab people by their heel, you know, and do a what do they call it? What do they call it, Malachi? A pick, a heel pick? What do they call it? Are you on, son? Is he on?
Ankle pick.
Ankle pick. Ankle. The ankle pick comes from Yaakov. This guy did an ankle pick on his brother Esau, which is our Torah portion. And the same guy did an ankle pick on the Malach of Yahweh, and he held on for a reason, because he has a reason. Oh, you better hear me. His name means because. You're not walking with Yah right now for no reason. If you're going to hold on to the ankle, you better have a purpose. If you want to get anything from Yah, and what did he want? He wanted Yah to bless him. Bless me. I'm not letting go of you. I'm not going to let go of the ankle until I get what I want. But now it's reversed. It's reversed because now Yaakov's descendants, his children, decided that they want to do something different. Oh, you better hear me. They want to hold on to their enemies. They want to hold on to this world. They want to hold on to what their masters gave them. And the whole time that they're doing that, guess who's holding on to them? Guess who will not let them go? Because Yah will not let Israel go. He will hold on us. He's been holding on to us, and we've been fighting him over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And he won't let us go. Because he loves us. We've been fighting him and we've been wrestling with him for thousands of years, vacillating between two opinions to say whether or not he exists or not. When he was with them, they said, oh, is he with us? If he is, then let him feed us. Can he bring us food out here? Can he give us quail? Can he give us water? Where is he? Because he's not moving when they wanted him to move. Because he's not doing what they want him to do. A wife that won't listen to her husband. She's always nagging because he won't move when she says, I want to move. He says, no, not right now. We got to understand this. So what does the wife who's discontent do? She goes out and finds somebody that will do what she wants them to do. What does the son do because he doesn't like his father? He doesn't do what he says and he go do what he want to do. What has the servant done? They go behind the back of the master and try to profit outside of the master instead of taking what the master told them and what he would give them. What's the example? Gehazi, what he did to Elisha, chapter number 4, I think, chapter 5. Having their own motivation. It's because Yah loves Yaakov. He is holding on to us. A loving and a just Elohim will not acquit the wicked. He will not kill the innocent. For the wicked, he will not do it. You break the Shabbat purposely and intentionally, I'm going to kill you. I gave you the Shabbat so you can remember that you were a slave. Why? Why do I want you to remember that you were a slave? Why? Because you're about to go back into slavery. And I want to remind you that I took you out from your slavery. I am a deliverer. Don't you go around and tell the world that I saved you and you're still exiled. Don't you open your mouth and tell nobody that I blessed you and you don't have nothing to take care of yourself. You don't have one tree that you can take the fruit of it and give it to me. But yet you said I blessed you. Yet you say I'm with you and you can't stand before your enemies. What God do you think you're serving today? Who are you dealing with, Yaakov? I've treated them as their uncleanness and their crimes deserve, and I hid my face from them. Therefore, Yahweh Elohim says this: now I will restore the fortunes of Yaakov and have compassion on the entire house of YISRAEL. Don't you see, even within his name, he tells you that I'm going to have compassion because that's who I am. I'm the compassionate one. I'm the merciful one. Oh, I'm going to give you grace and truth and I'm going to restore you. Not only in name, but in function. I will be jealous for my holy name. My name is holy. My name is set apart. My name is above every name. And at it, everyone will bow, and every knee will bow, and every tongue will confess. They will bear their shame in 26 and their guilt. You're going to bear it because that's who I am. I will not let you go. You're not going to be my child and do wrong and think I'm going to turn my eye to another direction as if I didn't see it. I'm not going to do it. You will bear the shame and the guilt because you broke faith with me. The shame is that me and you are not close anymore. The shame is that you have to go ask somebody else for something. The shame is that you have no place of worship. The shame is that you don't have a culture and a name and a language. You're somebody else's slave because you broke faith with me. You broke faith with me. Once they are living securely, because that's what salvation is, living securely in their land with no one to make them afraid. That's why I'm coming back. That's where my compassion lies, in you living securely. My compassion and my mercy and my grace and who I am is so you won't be afraid. This will be after, not before. This is going to be after I have brought them back from the peoples and gathered them from out of their enemies' lands, thereby being consecrated through them in the sight. Because I told you, everything that I do, I want everybody to see what I'm going to do in the sight of the nations. Just like I brought you out of the land of Mizraim, my intentions is to bring you out from the sight of the nations with the people seeing it, so they can see the mighty, powerful hand of Yahweh. They can see the compassion and the mercy and the love that I have towards the one that I loved. Because I made a promise. Then, it's only then that they will know that I am Yahweh, their Elohim. Since it was I who caused them to go into exile. This relationship between us and our Creator tells me something. It tells me no matter what you and I try to do, no matter where we run and hide, no matter how rich or poor or smart or dumb we are, the Creator will not let us go. He wants you and I to know. You and I will never know until he does what he says he can do, that he's our Yahweh, our Elohim. He's our power. Since it was I who caused them to go into exile among the nations, and it was I who regathered them to their own land. House of Israel, all 12 tribes, not one tribe called the Jewish people. I will leave none of them there anymore. And I will no longer hide my face from them. So let me ask you a question, Israel. Has Yah shown us his face yet? According to what we read?
No.
He has not revealed his face to us. He is still hiding his face from us. I have poured out my spirit on the house of Israel when he's no longer hiding his face from us. Do you have his spirit, people? Do you have his spirit? No, we don't. Look at the context. I will no longer hide my face from them, for I have poured out my spirit on the house of Israel. When his face is hidden from us, there is no blessing. When his face is hidden from us, we don't have his spirit. You got a spirit, but you don't have his spirit. What is the blessing? Let me tell it to you. What did y'all call? What did he want so desperately? What did he really, really want? He says this, Yaakov said to his father, I'm Esau. I'm Esau. That's how he said Esau. They call him Esau. His name is Esau. Your firstborn. I have done what you've asked me to do. Get up now, sit down and eat the game. Then give me your blessing. Yitzchak said to his son, how'd you find it so quickly, my son? He answered, Yahweh. Yahweh had made it happen that way. Yahweh, you're Elohim. Oh, you better hear me. He knew who his father's Elohim was. He said, Yahweh made your Elohim, made it happen that way. He used Rivqua. Rivqua. Yah did make it happen that way. Was he lying? No, he wasn't lying. He was telling the truth. Yahweh, your Elohim made it happen that way. Yitzchak said to Yaakov, come here, close to me, so I can touch you, my son, and know whether you are in fact my son, Esau, or not. See, I told you, sometimes we have these faculties, and the eyes, he didn't have eyes to see because his eyes was dim, so he was a little blind. He couldn't really figure it out. And then he said, well, let me touch you. Let me see if I can touch you. He's using his senses. And in our study this week, we found out that the touch is not enough. What we feel is not enough evidence. How we feel doesn't necessitate truth. Truth is only determined, listen to me. Oh, you better hear me. When Yah asks a witness to come to establish a fact in any case or trial, when it comes to judgment, he says you got to bring two witnesses in order to establish something to be a matter, have to make it right. He says, when you have these people come before you, don't look at them. Don't use your eyes. Do not use your eyes when you see these people, because somebody will disguise himself. How did Israel get deceived? How did Yeshua get deceived? Yahashua. How did he get deceived? Because those people put on clothes and dirt and they disguised themselves. And he went off of what he saw. Not his gut feeling. He went off of what he saw. Yah says you can't use your eyes. Your eyes are not good enough. You understand? They're good enough to the fact of why I gave an eyewitness account, but that's not enough. Okay? That's not enough. What we have to use, everybody, is our ears. Use your ears to decide what you hear. It's not what you feel. What you feel can make you, if you like the way it feels, then his senses was stimulated because, oh, he's hairy. So he associated hairiness with his son. So he's okay, then that's Esau, because he feels this way. Why is y'all telling us this? You think it's just about a man trying to figure out who's who? No, y'all's telling us, I'm trying to show you how to make judgment calls. And what I'm trying to get you to understand is when you guys are trying to figure something out, even when it comes to who I say that I am, I don't need you to see nothing. I don't need you to see a man to determine that who I am. I don't want you to base your assessment or your judgment on what you see a man hanging on the cross and say, oh, that's wonderful. That did happen. That's beautiful. Look how he died for us. I don't want you to touch something. Well, that does feel great. So obviously this is the right thing because it feels good to me. Because what may feel good to someone may not feel good to someone else. So you can't use that. You can't use that. You can smell different things. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't smell good, but it might taste good. You can't use that. So what Yah is looking for is for us to use our ears. In the Hebrew, your ears are the scales of your judgment. They're actually the same word for scales is for the same word for ears. It's called a nazan. It's your ear, how to hear. So you're supposed to take in information and listen carefully. In any situation, I have a bad habit of not doing that. I have to open up my ears. I have to be conscious of the fact that when someone's talking to me, I need to be listening. We need to be better listeners. All of us, not just me, all of us. We have to open up ourselves instead of talking so much. Let's just start listening more so you can hear everything and hear the details of it. And then you could ask questions. Okay. This man did do that. He did. He asked a question, but he didn't go farther. He didn't go further enough. It says 21, Yitzchak said to Yaakov, come here close to me so I can touch you, my son, to see whether or not, in fact, my son Esau or not. You are. And Yaakov approached Yitzchak, his father, who touched him and said, the voice is Yaakov's voice. See, he had a sense. He said, but the hands are Esau's hands. However, he didn't detect him. Why? Because his hands were hairy like his brother's Esau's hands. And so he gave him his blessing. He didn't detect him. He had right there was where he should have been like, wait a minute. He should have inquired more. But he didn't. He got lazy. Because what? He wanted to do what he wanted to do for his son, but without detailed investigation. He made the statement, but he didn't go any further. He asked him, are you really my son, Esau? And he replied, I am. That's all he said. That's all he said. He didn't ask questions except for that one. He said, I am. He said, bring it to me, bring it here to me, and I will eat my son's game so that I can give you my blessing. And so he brought it up to him and he ate. And he brought him wine and he drank. And his father Yitzchak said to him, come close now. Kiss me, my son. He approached and he kissed him, and Yitzchak smelled his clothes. So what other sense is he using? He's using his other faculty. He didn't give way to the ear. He didn't use that one. He used his smell. He's trying to figure it out, but the smell wasn't good enough. You could be deceived. And so his clothes, and he blessed Yaakov with these words, and he said, see, my son smells like the field that Yahweh has blessed. So may Yahweh give you dew from heaven. Now, I want everyone to listen carefully. What Elohim's blessing was to give the dew from heaven. That's the blessing. That's part of it. And also the richness of the earth. Okay? That's the blessing. And the grain of the earth. That's the blessing. And the wine from the earth. That's the blessing. In abundance. And he knows that El, the one who has all power of everything, is the one who's going to give this to him. Okay? You can't see the dew until it's out in the morning. Then no one knows when it comes. The richness of the earth is that which is in the soil, which no one can see. Only Yah knows what's in there. The grain and the wine is the result of abundance of the dew and the richness of the earth. So the blessing is in the earth. You understand? That's why I keep telling you, get off the religious stuff about being blessed. May peoples serve you. That's part of the blessing. Where? In the earth. And the nations bow down to you. That's the blessing. That's the blessing. Remember, when we talk about bowing down, we're talking about using the knee. And the knee means to bless. And he's asking the nations to bow down. And when they bow down, they just don't bow down. They bow down with something in their hand. Okay, which we read in Isaiah chapter number 60 to talk about these nations that are going to come and bring frankincense, gold, silver. They're going to bring it all to Jerusalem for Israel. Okay, in honor of the King Yahweh. Okay, and he says, may you be Lord and master, because that's what Lord is here. I need you to be the master over all your family. You let your mother's descendants. And who's his mother's descendants? Esau. And they're going to do what? They're going to bow down to you too. So everybody in the earth, because the nations consist of everybody in the earth. So what Yah has given Israel, to make it clear, so you'll know for sure today that you're not blessed yet. Okay, I'm not saying he's not going to. What I'm telling you, it's not going to it hasn't happened yet. Yah is going to give you the earth. And he's going to give you the dew from heaven. And Yah is going to give you the nations. And they're going to bow down to you, and you're going to be the master over everyone, including your brothers and your mother's descendants. Okay. They're all going to bow the knee to you. That's what blessing is. And anybody, cursed be anyone who curses you. And blessed, meaning they'll bring in gifts to you, everyone who blesses you. So whoever decides that they're going to bend the knee to you is the one who is going to be blessed, because the reason why they're bending a knee is to bring a gift. And when they bring this gift to you, then they'll always have gifts to bring. The moment that they say they're not going to give you any gifts, then I'm going to X out their gifts. I will restore the fortunes of Yaakov. If they don't bring gifts, Yah says, I'm going to curse their gifts. Anybody that speaks evil against you, I'm going to curse them. Now you can understand why Esau was so angry. You understand? Okay. That's the blessing. Okay. Your blessing is in the earth. Your blessing is everything that pertains to the earth and everybody that's walking in the earth. So if you don't want to follow Yahweh and you don't want to be part of his covenant, right? That's what you don't want to do. You and I, Israel, Yaakov, don't want to bow and bend the knee and bless his name. Oh, then what's the problem? Oh, if we don't do that, you and I are cursed. Woo! Don't you see why you're in exile right now? Huh? Did you and I don't have a gift to bring Yah? You know, back in the day, my grandmother used to say, or mama used to say, you don't have a pot to piss in and a window to throw it out of. You that broke. They say that in Texas. I know. You guys, you Texans know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yes, I remember my mother saying that.
Oh, yeah, you don't got a pot to piss in and a window to throw it out of. That means you don't have nothing. You need to keep your mouth closed. So what Yah is telling us is this: you have nothing to offer me because I ain't gave you nothing. So why do you keep going around telling the people in the world, especially the people of the nations, your enemies, that I blessed you? Why won't you tell him that he cursed me? Oh, we don't want to say that he cursed us because if we say that, then we look like a bunch of idiots and we look stupid. And we don't look, no. He wants you to tell him that he cursed me. I told the Muslim guy I was talking on the phone. He was like, no. You need to be as Muslim and with Muhammad. I said, let me tell you something. And I read to him where his people are going to be bowing down to my people. And I said, guess what? Say what you like. But I'm telling you today, you will bow the knee to my people. You will. And you will bow down the knee to my Elohim. I don't care about what name you are calling him. That's your name that you know you are Elohim by. But our Elohim says, my name is YHWH. And because he gave me his name, he didn't give it to you. That's your problem. My problem is right now my people are cursed. And that blew him away. What, you're not blessed? No, I'm not. I'm cursed right now. Put that, go. You know what? You're going to make me go get a t-shirt company and make it, I'm cursed. Probably like sell maybe 5 shirts because nobody wants it. Who wants to be cursed? Who wants to acknowledge that? Nobody. That's not popular. Okay. So, but as soon as Yitzchak had finished giving his blessing, Yaakov barely left his father's presence, and Esau, his brother, came in from hunting. I'm not going to go in and talk about him begging, asking Yah to help him, or his father, give me some kind of blessing, Father. He wanted to kill his brother after this, okay? The last part of our segment today in our teaching is this. I need you to know exactly what happened and what's going on with this word because, which is Yaakov. Chapter number 26 of Genesis says this. A famine came over the land. This is prior to Yitzchak blessing Yaakov. Okay. But I need you to understand something, because we don't want to forget what Yah told Abraham, Yitzchak. Okay. A famine came over the land, not the same as it was the first famine, which took place when Abraham was alive. Yitzchak went to Gergar to Abimelech, the king of the Philistine. This is his second encounter with this king. His father had an encounter with Abimelech, the king of the Philistine. Philistine is the land of Canaan, which Philistine comes from Canaan, and those are the family of Ham, which they call Ham. So the Philistine are from that family. Okay, and you can look at this in Genesis chapter number 10. It'll tell you that the Philistine are from the land of Canaan, from the family of Ham. But his real name is not Ham. His real name is Kam. Okay, Kam. And this means outside, and it means hot. The people who are outside, the hot ones. And that's why they are what you would call black in their skin, because they've been out in the sun. They're the people of the sun. Okay. And they call it modern day Africa. Okay. So that's what they're called. They're not Ham. They're called Kam. Okay. And you see that in his name. Kam, the CH right here is a ket. It's a little Hebrew for you, the letter ket. And the next letter or word is So the ket means a wall. And a wall does something in separation, which means something on the outside or the inside. But in this case, it's the outside. And means people. So it's the people who are outside, and they're outside in the sun. Beautiful when you know the language, right? It makes sense to us. Okay. So Yahweh appeared to him. He appeared to Yitzchak, and he said, don't go down to Egypt. Don't go down into Egypt. I don't want you to go into Egypt, but live where I tell you. Stay in this land, and I will what? I will be with you. Because that's what everybody wants. Everybody wants Yah to be with them, but Yah says, Yah told him, I will be with you. Okay, so what can we learn from this so far? We can learn that the Creator, if the Creator says, I'm with you, and he comes to you, he says, I'm with you, then let him be that. Yitzchak didn't go, Yah's with me. He didn't say that until Yah told him he was. And when Yah's with you, I need you to be very clear today, is that when Yah is with us or with you, then you're blessed. And that proves the argument. And that's the case. When Yah is with us, then we're blessed. When Yah's not with us, then we're not blessed. When Yah's with you, then you can be protected. And when he's not with you, you can't be protected. So we're vulnerable. Okay. And I want you to focus on this word, because. Because, and you know what because means. Because that's on the heel of something, a heel of a statement. And this was the statement right here. And so the heel is right here. Okay. The heel is right here. So because I will give you all these lands to you and your descendants. Okay. So I'm going to give you lands. That's why I need you to stay here. I need you to stay in this land, because these are the lands I'm going to give you and your descendants. Just like when Abraham told his servant to go get a wife for Yitzchak, he says, well, the servant said, well, what if I can't find a wife? She's not willing to come. He said, well, do I bring him back there? He said, no, never bring him back there. Not because it was an evil place. He said, don't bring him back there, because Yah promised me to give us these lands. So I need him to stay put. So here Yah is telling him to what? Don't go down to Egypt. Stay put. Stay right where I'm telling you, because I'm going to give these lands to you. So this is about timing, because I will give all these lands to you and your descendants. Okay. And here is another I will. Yahweh says, fulfill the oath, meaning the promise, which I swore to your father Abraham. I will make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky. At this time, did he say, I'm going to give you Christ, or I'm going to give you a savior? No, he never mentions anything about one descendant. He says, I'm going to make your descendants, plural, as numerous as the stars in the sky. Okay. I will give all these lands to your descendants, not descendant, descendants, plural. Okay. It's another I will. Okay. And he says, your descendants, all the nations of the earth will bless themselves. By your descendants, all the nations of the earth will bless themselves. So we've been told that all the nations are going to be blessed by your descendants. Okay. When we found out that the blessing is really them bending the knee to us, because he said everyone's going to bow to you. So the way that this is written, it would make you think that the nations of the earth will bless themselves by them, meaning that we're going to bow our knees to them. See, because that's what blessing is. Blessing is bending the knee. So he's saying that if it's in the Hebrew, it would tell you that they're going to bend themselves, as we just saw in chapter number 27. The nations are going to bend their knees to your descendants. That's what Yah's telling him. Okay? That's what they're going to do. They're going to offer gifts to your descendants, all the nations of the whole entire earth. The earth belongs to Yahweh in the fullness thereof. And Yah has given it to the ones that he wants to give it to. He's portioned it out to the nations that he's given different parts to, but ultimately everything belongs to Yah. And the person who's in charge, or the group of people who's in charge, is Yahweh's servants. So if we serve Yahweh and he's the king of the earth, then we handle all the earth and all the nations for Yahweh. That's why he's asking you to step your game up and get with it, because I'm about to put you in charge. And again, my favorite word is because. And he says this, and Yah is speaking, all that I just told you is because Abraham heeded, meaning he listened and obeyed what I said, and he did what I told him to do. He followed my commandments, my regulations, and my teachings. Because. Okay? Because. You'll hear me keep saying it. So let me show you what because is. Okay? And this is in chapter number 30, Deuteronomy 26. Oh, here we are. I wanted to show it to you in the Hebrew language so you can see it. It is because. Ayin, a kof, and a bet. And this is the root of the name of our Father. All I got to do is, if I put a yod right here, what does that say? Whose name is this? Yaakov. That's what his name means. These are the letters. Ayin, Kof, and Bet. And it means the heel. It means a restrainer. Okay. So when he's telling him this, he's speaking to him and he's letting him know Yaakov is the reason. Everything that Abraham did was because of Yaakov. I hope you can see it. Look at the letters carefully, and I'll show it to you in another rendering. It's because your father did what I told him, you are going to receive. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we could see it.
Okay. Let me go here. You can see it?
Yes.
All right. So those are the letters. Right here. Ayin, Kof, and a bet. That means because. This yod here means he. Okay. So remember, there's a lot of different reasons, okay, or meanings for his name. So when we put that yod there, it implies the hand. Because remember, this means hand in Hebrew. The yod, I should change the color so you guys can see it better. This yod right here, it means hand. And so I put the hand in front of this, and this means heel, and it's because he took hold of the what? The heel. You understand? And when you learn the language, you'll understand that the reason why Abraham, Yah is saying everything that I'm doing is because. Because that which, okay, this is he listened, obeyed me perfectly. Abraham did what I obeyed me. That's why everything I'm saying that I'm going to give to you. So you can see, even when Yah uses this word right here, he's making reference to Yaakov. Okay. When Yah had Abraham, when Abraham obeyed the commandments of Yahweh, he did it for not only the sake of Abraham, he did it because of Yaakov. And because that's the name of this guy. This is the name of our father. It's because that's his name. You can see it right there. So because of this, because Abraham, he did what? He Shema, he listened to my Bakoli, okay? And he YHWH, he guarded what I said, which that's what he's asking us to do. He's asking us to listen, and he's asking us to obey, and he's asking us to what? Shamar. And shamar means to what? Guard. I need you to guard what I'm saying. Guard it to the point where you're not willing to do anything else except for what he says. Guard it to the point where you'll guard the Shabbat, you'll guard the commandments, you'll guard the diet, you'll guard everything, you'll guard his name, you'll fight, you'll put on guard. And your guard is your faculties, which is your ears, your eyes. This is what you use to guard with. Your hands, your touch. You know what I'm saying? What you touch, he says, don't touch certain stuff. You can't even touch pork, it's unclean. What you smell, that which is good, which he says, it's okay to smell some lavona. And also I got the ears for hearing, okay? So you use your faculties, your taste, your touch, okay? You use your mouth. Your taste is important too, because it has to do with your mouth. So you got to guard your mouth. Guard your mouth, okay? And here again, this is his charge, being a servant to him to do his commandments. So that's what we're doing. We're guarding the commandments with all of our being. And when he talks about loving me with all your being, that's what you and I are supposed to do. Okay. But I want to share something with you in the book of here. Okay. So our Torah portion was Toledoth, but now he mentions this word because within our Torah portion, because. Well, in the book of Deuteronomy, in which they call Davarim in Hebrew, this word right here, akev, means because. So if I want to find out something, if I want to find out what because means, right here in Deuteronomy chapter number 7, verse number 12, that word right there, akev, means because. And this is a Torah portion named because. So let's go find out what because means besides it just being Yaakov. So if we go to Deuteronomy chapter number 7, and this will be closing of our teaching today, and we go to verse number 12, there we go. Here's our word again. All that happened because, and this is because, he says, it shall come to pass, it will exist, it will perfectly exist if you would tishma'un. That means, here's the word Shema in there. Shema means listen and hear and obey. So he's asking them, he's telling them, because you listen and obey, okay, so it's always because. And if you can see that word right there, is the root of Yaakov's name. So if you and I are claiming to be his people, that if we put a yod in front of because, it means he will. You understand? Because he will, because Yaakov will listen to the judgments, okay? Then things are happen. So let's read what happens when you do what he says. Give you some motivation for why you're doing what you're doing and why you should guard it. So Moshe writes this Torah portion, and Yah has him write it to tell them, and it's in chapter number 7 of Deuteronomy. And it begins with the words because, and it's in verse number 12. Here it is. In the Hebrew scroll, it would be a space. It would be a space right here between this. It'll let you know that it's not a new teaching happened right here. It'll be a brand new space right here. but because it's in English, they don't put that space right here. It'd be a space, and they'll let you know this is a new teaching. So that's why it's a Torah portion by itself. Here's the word, because you're listening to these rulings and keeping, meaning guarding and obeying them, Yahweh your Elohim will keep with you the covenant and mercy. Okay. The covenant he's talking about is what covenant? The 10 words. Okay. Of mercy and mercy, because that's what his character is. Remember, this is his character. So he'll show you mercy because of who he is, that he swore to your ancestors. What he swore to our ancestors, land and descendants, he said he will love you. He will love you. That's part of it. Because you're listening. Remember, because you're listening and because you're obeying, Yahweh will love you. Don't get mad when I tell you these things. Don't get mad when I tell you that he loves you. Because you listen to him and you keep his rulings and you're obeying them. He says, verse 13, he will love you. So he's going to keep his commandment. He's going to guard the commandment that he has with you of mercy. That covenant of mercy, to give you an idea of what he's saying that I won't forget the mercy that I'm going to show you. My mercy is not that I'm going to acquit you of your sins. It means that my mercy means I'm going to come back and get you. Because I promise to be your Elohim. I promise to be your deliverer. But if you forsake me and get saved by some other means through another person, then you can forget about my mercy. Because you abandon this covenant. The covenant I made with you is the one that promised that I will have mercy unto you because it's connected to my name. And if you leave me, then you don't get any mercy, because I only show mercy to those who love me and keep my commandments. He swore that to our ancestors. Okay. He will love you and he will what? Bless you and increase your numbers. Okay, so a lot of people get confused right here. They go, well, I'm listening to rulings and statutes and commandments, but they don't want to put that in its proper context. Proper context is this. While you're in exile, you don't love Yahweh. He loves you, but you don't love him. You say, well, I do love him. No, you don't. He says, you don't love me the way that I want you to love me. Do you want me to show it to you? I will. Because I can't just say it and not, and it's, you guys, I don't want you to ever think that David is saying something. He's adding something to this. I'm not adding anything to what the creator said. Okay. So I'm going to go there because I love you and I'm going to tell you the truth. So let's go see if I just said that we don't love him. That's what I just said. Correct? Yeah. Did I say that? And a lot of people say, well, why'd you say that? In context, because I don't ever just want to take a thing and just read it. When the time arrives, this is Deuteronomy chapter number 30. When the time arrives, that's why I told you get a notebook and pen and paper so you can write this down and read it for yourselves. When the time arrives that all these things that come upon you, both the blessing and the curse, because we experienced the blessing, but now we got the curse on us, which I presented to you, and you are there among the nations. That's where you and I are. We're among the nations. That's where I know you're going to be, to which Yahweh Elohim has driven you, which proves Ezekiel chapter number 39 that he did that. Then at last, you'll start thinking about what's happened to you. Okay, you're going to start thinking about it, and you will return to Yahweh, your Elohim, and pay attention to what he has said, okay, which will be exactly what I'm ordering you to do today. That's what you're going to do. You and your children, with all your heart, which means your mind, and all your being, that means your stomach, your soul, your emotions, and everything, your ears, your eyes, your hands, your tongue, your nose, your body. And at that time, and at that point, Yahweh, your Elohim, will reverse your exile. Okay, so we're caught between at that time. This is the space where you and I are right now. We're back here. We're doing this right now. This is what we're doing. This is what we're attempting to do right now. And at that time, and at that point, a point in time, Yahweh will reverse your exile. Has he done it yet? No, but he's going to. And he will show you mercy. At that point, he will return you. That's the mercy that he just showed us, that I'm going to show you mercy if you do what I'm telling you. The mercy is returning you and gathering you from all the peoples, which Yahweh told us in Ezekiel 39. That's what he's going to do with everyone watching, which Yahweh, the merciful one, the compassionate one, the long-suffering one, the forgiving one, your Elohim has scattered you. If one of yours was scattered, and he's letting them know, talking about your descendants are scattered to East Oakland or Beaumont, Texas, or anywhere in the world, in the sky, Yahweh, your Elohim, will gather you even from there. He will go there and get you. He himself, he's going to send somebody. He's going to get you, okay? Yahweh, your Elohim, will bring you back into the land your ancestors possessed. That's mercy. That's where you're getting your mercy. That's when the showing you mercy is bringing you back to the land that your ancestors possessed, because that's what he swore to give to you. And you will possess it, and he will make you prosper there, not in the lands of your enemies. And you will become even more numerous than your ancestors. And how do you do this more numerous? Oh, that's right. You start having children and being married and copulating, okay? Just like a sheep. And then Yahweh, your Elohim, will circumcise. Then what? Then, what's then? After Yahweh, your Elohim, will circumcise your hearts and your hearts of your children, so you will love Yahweh with what? All of your heart and all of your being, and thus live. So based on what we're reading here, this is something that the Creator wants to do for us. He wants to circumcise our hearts, because our hearts, even with our best intention, not to put any of us down. I'm not trying to smash everybody down into the ground and give you no hope. What I'm trying to let you know is the love that Yah is looking for is not found in a heart that hasn't been purified, because he's not an ordinary God. He is the ultimate king of the universe. And so there's things about us that Yah has to circumcise and get rid of. You know, the reluctancy to just do what he asked you to do sometimes, or the mistakes that we've made because we really don't understand. He understands where we're at. He knows that we're human. He knows what we're going through, but you and I cannot prescribe the kind of love that he's looking for. We can't take this away from him and say, well, he says, I'm going to circumcise your hearts, and then in the hearts of your children. So I want my children to love Yah. I want my daughters to love him more than anything in the world. I want them to embrace it. I want my son to embrace the culture, and I want him to do all it, but he doesn't. He doesn't want to embrace it 100%. Why? Because he doesn't have the heart. Yah knows that Malachi Esteb does not have 100%, and neither does David, and neither does Rivqua, and neither does Jenny, neither does Jared. None of us have 100%, and we're not 100%. Because there's no way that you could be 100%, but you could give your best effort. You could give your best effort. You can have the desire. But if you and I are not interested in having a circumcised heart, and we're not interested in him doing the circumcision, this only happens then after Yah has brought us back. So you got something to look forward to. So you're loving him right now is not the love that Yahweh Elohim is looking for. It's not the ultimate love. It's a smidget. It's not the whole thing, okay? Because I want all of it in the manner of a circumcised heart. Your hearts are not circumcised. Do you understand? Uh-oh. Why isn't this happening? Why isn't this working? The whole time my battery's been going out. Hold on, you guys. This is important. Oh. Whew, I just saved the class. All right. So the love that Yah wants for us is different than the love that we have available. But it doesn't mean that you can't try to turn everything to him. You can, but there's another one that he's going to give to you. That's what I'm trying to make. Okay? So you need to be like, okay, I love you, but I know that there's something else. I want the love that you want to give to me. So help come and bring us back. And this is your prayer. Bring me back so you can circumcise my heart, so that I can give you everything that I have, that I will love you with all of my heart and all of my being. And you guys don't understand how jealous Yah is for us. He wants all of us. He doesn't want us to give our thoughts to anyone or anything else. And right now, because we're surrounded in the places that we're at, he's not getting our full attention. That's the love that he's talking about, a full attention love. He's jealous. Okay. Where did I stop at? Oh, right here. Back to where we're at. Okay. So he will love you, bless you, increase your numbers. He will also bless. Now, listen, we talked about blessing and we're closing out on this. When he brings them into the land, he's telling them he will bless you and he will love you and he will bless you and increase your numbers. Like we just read in Deuteronomy 30, right here in Deuteronomy 7. He's telling them before you guys go into the land. Now he's telling them in 30 when you guys are in the lands of your enemies. So it's just a reverse. So in chapter number 7, he's telling them before they go into this land. Okay. When he talks in chapter number 30 that we just read, it's before we go back into our land. You understand? So before, because. So no matter what, you and I, because we still have to do what he says. So you don't wait until you get to the land to say, well, I'm going to change my life and do what he's asking me to do. You got to do it right now. You got to make it up, because if you intend on going into the land, then that's what you have to do. It says he will love you, bless you, and increase your numbers. When you're in the land, he will also bless the fruit of your body. So blessing here is into the increase your numbers, which are children. Bless the fruit of your body, again, is children. And bless the fruit of your ground, which is fruit, the blessing of fruit. So again, the blessing is doing what? It has to do with the earth. And it has to do with that which is on the earth, which is a body of an animal or a body of a human being. You understand? So this is the deal. He's going to increase your numbers. He's going to bless the fruit of your body and bless the fruit of your ground, because your body is like ground. It has soil and you could put seed into it, and then out of the ground it will grow. And so your grain, he's going to bless your grain. Remember, we heard today Yaakov's blessing. He said, I'm going to bless your grain. I'm going to bless your wine. I'm going to give you that, the minerals and stuff that come out of there, the olive oil, the trees, and the young of your cattle and your sheep in the land that he swore to your ancestors that he would give to you. Okay. So the blessing that we're looking for is not the blessing of a new house and a new car and all those things. Those are not what you would call defined by the creator as the blessings, not in your enemy's lands. There's no way possible, because Yah says that you guys are set apart people for me and you have my name. And my mercy to you is not for you to get comfortable where you're at. It is maintain where you're at, but also understand that my intention for you is to bring you back to the land I gave to your ancestors, because everything that I'm doing and have done, even bringing you out of the land of Mizraim, is because I swore something to your ancestors, which is a land. I made promise to them, and you will be blessed more than all other peoples. So are we blessed more than all other peoples right now? Or are we the poorest peoples? Oh, that's right. The Hebrew people today own less than 0.1% of all the wealth of the world. You're broke, but you say you're blessed. He says, I'm gonna make you more blessed than all other peoples of the world. So has this happened yet? No. There will not be a sterile among a male or female among you. And the same with your livestock. See, but we want to say, no, we don't want the livestock, and we don't want the females anymore. We want to be gay or transgenders, or we don't want the male anymore. We want to be a lesbian, or we don't want to be neither male or female. We just want to be what you call just existence as humankind. Don't call me a male. Don't call me a female. And we don't want animals. We don't want to have to deal with this, because that doesn't fit our narrative. Because how can you have cows, sheep, and all this and still go to NBA games and be part of the Major League Baseball? Or, you know, how can we go to the Olympics with cattle? We're going to bring the fastest goat. Are we going to have an Olympics? So this is why people don't want to come over here, because this is the blessing. Okay. Yahweh will remove all illness from you. Okay. So all illness. So right now I teach the Torah, and yet I have what they call a neurological problem because of a problem I have with my spine. But according to everyone else, if you follow the Torah, this will never happen to you. Do you think maybe they got it a little wrong here? Maybe if we were in our land, and maybe it's not a maybe. I know the Holy One of Israel can heal anybody. He healed Hezekiah. He can heal. He can raise anyone from the dead. He could bring life. He could do all those things. I'm not worried about that. But I know one thing. I know that Israel right now is sick. So he'll remove it. So it means the illness does exist, but he will remove it from you. So when I get to the what? Oh, that's right. When I get to the land, then he'll remove it. He will not afflict you, because I'm afflicted, yes, with any of Egypt's diseases, dreadful diseases. Okay. So, diabetes, if you got diabetes, that's an affliction. Everything you're getting from your enemy's lands is because you're being afflicted. That's part of your punishment. Because that's what it says in Deuteronomy 28. If you don't do what I'm saying, I'm going to inflict diseases on you from Egypt and those you've never heard of before. I'm going to plague you with that. That's the curse. So affliction right here is a curse. So I'm cursed, like I told you. And if you know that you're cursed, then you can ask God to relieve you. And why? I'm not asking, well, please just take it from me right now. I can't take it. Yeah, I tried that. He says, no, that's part of the curse. So when you get home to your land, and I swear to your ancestors, David, I'm going to remove this from you because you're in my presence. And I don't like anything that's ill in my presence and lives among me. So don't you see the need for you to want it to at least acknowledge that you're ill? So when you get to be in his presence, he'll remove it from you. Then you can thank him, and then you can say that you're blessed. My mother, she passed away at 66. And one of the things she told me is, I'm praying for such and such. She's sick. And I'm praying that God would take away her illness. And guess what I told her? She got mad at me. I said, Mama, how can you pray for healing for someone else and you yourself are ill? He hasn't healed you, but you're asking for healing for someone else? She got mad at me because I told her the honest truth. You're ill, okay? And you're afflicted. And with their diseases from these people, which you have known, okay? Instead, he will lay those on the ones who hate you. Like we'll go back in Deuteronomy. He said he'll reverse the exile and he'll put the curses on your enemy, okay? You are to devour the peoples that Yahweh your only hands over to you. Then he goes on to talk about that, okay? And all this because you obey what he said. That's what this is about, okay? So I want to finish out, and there's more to this, but I want to finish out, and I want to go to, and you just give me a few minutes. I want to go one last place that I feel led to go to that I haven't gone when it's been on my heart to go to kind of explain the final touch of what the Creator's saying. Then you can enjoy the rest of your Shabbat. Chapter number 26 says, if you do everything I'm telling you to do, then I'm going to bless you and I'm going to give you rain. I'm going to give you, you're going to live by my regulations, then I will provide you with the rain you need in the season. Verse 4, and all of his, yield in the trees in the field and all so forth and so on. And he goes on to talk about the harvest and everything, that if you do what I'm telling you, if you don't do what I'm telling you, then you're going to have some problems. So chapter number 26, if you want to know what's going on and why everything is happening, then go to chapter number 26. Okay. And he tells them all these blessings. And then he gets down to the final part, which I want to talk about, is I open it up today talking about you being paid for your punishment. I want you to understand that the Creator is looking for something, and I'll read it. I'm not going to break it down in Hebrew or anything. I'm going to try not to. But I want you to know that when we went against the Holy One of Israel, there was a great consequence for that. And I'll start in 29. He says, you will eat the flesh of your own sons and daughters. You eat this in the own flesh of your daughters. Okay. If you go against me. Okay. That's what you're going to do. And I will destroy your high places and cut down your pillars for sun worship, which is, worship on the Sunday. And because that's what they had. And I will throw your carcasses on the carcasses of your idols. I will detest you. And again, we are going to focus our attention. I will. So I want you to remember, I will. Okay. If you don't do what I'm telling you. Okay. And I will waste your cities. I will lay waste your cities and make your sanctuaries desolate. so that not as to smell your fragrant aromas, because Yahweh does smell, because he created the nose, and I told you that. And now you know he smells. He's not a man, but he created the nose and he created smell and senses. And he said, I'm not going to smell anything that you bring to me, which is your incense and your fragrant aromas or nothing. I'm not doing it. Verse number 32, I will. Okay, another I will. I will desolate the land so that your enemies living in it will be astounded by it. Okay, and I will, I will disperse among the nations. I told you I was going to do it. I will draw out the sword and pursue after you, and your land will be a desolation and your cities will a wasteland. So that's what I'm going to do to you. Okay. But I thought you said he's merciful. I thought you said he forgives crime. He does. Then at last, then, okay, now we got the then at last, because it's always then and at last. After I do all this, then, at last, the land will be paid its Shabbats. Say, okay, and as long as the land, this means, I said I wasn't going to do it, but it's called Shalem. Shalem is the same root that's for Shalom. Which is the Shin, a Lamed, and a Mem. Okay. Shalom. So Shalem and Shalom share the same root, same exact letters. One is called payment and the other one is called being complete. So the only time something is complete is when there's payment. That's why I told you, you got to pay for your transgressions. You have to pay. You're going to pay. Okay. So the Shabbats are going to be paid. So there can be peace and shalom. As long as it lays desolate and you are in the lands of your enemies, the land will rest and repay, which is shalom, is Shabbats. So when we say Shabbat Shalom, Yah has given us a little degree of peace today, okay? But as we're celebrating our Shabbats, she's celebrating her Shabbats because we're not there working on it, okay? So she's getting some shalom because you and I are not overworking her. And therefore, she's receiving what they would call shalom, okay? Rest, okay? Yes, as long as it lies desolate desolate, it will have rest. Rest it did not have during your Shabbats, because during their Shabbats, they didn't give it any rest. They worked it. They kept working. And verse 36 says this, as for those of you who are left, talking about the people that is on Zoom today, and your family members, I will fill their hearts with anxiety in the lands of their enemies. That anxiety here is uncertainty. Okay, you're uncertain about your future and you're uncertain about what's going to happen with the mandates. You're uncertain what kind of job you're going to have, what your career is going to be like, whether you're going to get your retirement. You're uncertain. So there's a lot of anxiety that has to go with this. And in your hearts here is meaning is your mind. It's in your thoughts, your thought life. Okay, you're really not clear. Like, what is our end? And so the sound of a driven leaf will frighten them. You know, we're always on edge so that they will flee as one flees from the sword and fall when there's no one pursuing. That's how terrified you're going to be. Yes, with no one pursuing, they will stumble over each other as fleeing from the sword. Okay. You will have no power. Okay. So now he's telling us what's going on with us, not with him. You will have no power. Okay. You will have no power to stand before your enemies. As we've been saying, there's no power. And among the nations, you will perish. Okay. Not prosper. Okay. So I'm going to tell you what it is. You're going to perish. The land of your enemies will devour you. So every time you try to get ahead, they're going to devour you with taxes. They're going to devour you with regulations. They're going to devour you any kind of way they can. Everything that you work for, they're going to take it from you. That's even your children. They're going to put them in the military if they can. They're going to have everybody separate. They're going to make sure that you guys never prosper, never grow. And because you're getting devoured, that means you don't have an opportunity to increase. Because every time you try to increase, they'll devour you. So what they've done is they created a system that doesn't allow us to increase in our children because you don't have enough to support them. Every time you make some money, they take it from you. So you have no way to become wealthy. And every time you guys try to get together, we'll kill your leaders. So you're going to be devoured. Plan on that. Those of you who remain will pine away in the lands of their enemies from the what? From your guilt over your misdeeds and those of your ancestors. Okay? Guilt. Even if you don't think you're guilty, you're guilty. You don't think you have any guilt for your misdeeds, then you're calling the Creator a lie. If you say that your ancestors didn't do anything, you're calling the Creator a lie. Then, again, it's always then, we're almost done, then they will confess their misdeeds and those of their ancestors, which they committed against me in their rebellion. When they're in the lands of their enemies. This is where we're supposed to do it. We're not supposed to do it when we get back. You're supposed to do it right now. First part of it is confession. Confess what? Our misdeeds. Well, how will you know what your misdeeds were? Well, if you read the Torah, you'll find out what they are. If you read the prophets, you'll find out what they are. What's the misdeeds of your ancestors? You'll find it out if you find out that they worshiped other idols and they called another God and they went down another path. And then once you realize that that's rebellion because they had a bitter attitude and they hated Yahweh, and you don't want to understand that, even Big Mama and Grandpa, whether they know it or not, they hated him because they were taught to hate him by their parents and their parents and their parents and their parents. That was passed on. This rebellion has been passed on. We did this against Yahweh. Now, if you won't admit this, see, they want you to confess about your sins. Yah tells you to confess your misdeeds. I need you to confess that and those of your ancestors. So don't get up there and say, well, I'm just going to confess my sins and believe in my heart and I shall be saved. That's not going to work. You have to deal with the past because your past is your future. So even my son, once he realized and recognized that I am a transgressor against Yahweh and I was a rebel against the Holy One of Israel, he has to confess that what I taught him was a rebellion. And until he understands that, instead of, don't blame me for bringing in Christianity, blame me for going against the Holy One and blame me and yourself because everything that you're doing is against him as well. Everyone has to do this for themselves. Okay. If you confess and you admit, he wants us to admit that we committed, and they will admit. So when you go to court, you have to admit that I've committed a crime, that they went against me. That's all he got to do. That's all he's asking. He's asking for confession and admit, acknowledge that you've done this. That's all you want someone to do. And at that time, at the time of their confession and at the time of their admitting that they were going against me, at that time, I will be going against them. Yah is going against us because he's hid his face from us. When Yah is not going against us, there's a difference. You will be able to stand against your enemies. You will not be afraid. You'll live in safety and security. You will have wealth. You will have children. You have blessing. You have a land. You have it all. Right now, we don't have those things. So by definition, at that time, I will be going against them. Yah is going against us, and he has been bringing them into the lands of their enemies. But it's always a but if their uncircumcised heart grows humble. So he's letting us know again, like he did in Deuteronomy chapter number 30, that you guys, your hearts need to be circumcised. Right now, you have an uncircumcised heart. So your heart needs to grow humble. And they are paid. You're paid for your punishment and misdeeds. So no one can take your punishment. So when they say that Christ died on the cross and he paid for your sins, a question I ask everybody, and they're yet to answer it, and they won't be honest in their scholarship, they are paid for their punishment when they're in exile. That's how we're paying for our punishment. So Yah has lived up to his name, which is he will not exonerate the guilty. If you and I are guilty, then you need to be paid. And I told you, you're going to pay what you owe, and you're going to be paid the punishment. So that's what's happening. So one is confess. The second is confess, admit, and then what? You got to be paid. This is what you and I are supposed to do. And this is what's happening to us. We're being paid. And that word, again, is shalom, which has to do with shalom. There won't be any shalom without shalom. There won't be no peace without payment. There won't be no peace between me, you, and the Heavenly Father, our Elohim, when we haven't been paid. So when they say that Christ paid for your sins, they're a lie. And it's anyone, the innocent died for you, it's a lie. And here's your proof. Because if you've been paid, if everything's been paid, then why are you still in exile? You're here for what? Not for anything but your misdeeds. So even though my son Malachi is here and he's being paid for his misdeeds, he's only getting a certain amount. He should hope that the amount of misdeeds that he have is equivalent. It will be equivalent on the scale of everything I taught him. If he admits and confesses this, then he would say even his misdeeds will be taken care of by time if he would admit. And he has done so. Just giving him as an example, not trying to pick on you, son, just telling him what it is. So we're paid punishment for our misdeeds, even if you didn't, even if you're not the one who initiated it. Because if the blessing is supposed to go from the father to the son, to the son, to the son, to the fathers and daughters, and so forth and so on, the same land that you and I inheriting after all these generations, we have to participate in that process, and we get the blessing of that. We're attached to that. So what they have done, we're receiving, like he said, the consequences of their action has caused us to be the recipients of this. We inherited this. You and I inherited misdeeds. And even when we inherit it, we want to make it right, like in Exodus or Ezekiel chapter 18, where we can make the decision, change our mind, and say, I want to do something different. God leaves that up to the individual. After this happens, then I will remember. This is the I here. Yahweh gets involved again. He says, I will remember my covenant with Yaakov, and my covenant with Yitzchak, and my covenant with Abraham. Okay, that's what I'm going to remember. And I will remember the land. Do you see that? After, then, if we would do that, then he will remember. And if he remembers this covenant that he made with them, okay, the covenant that we understand is Yahweh gave Abraham and said, I will remember the covenant I made with you, that I will be your Elohim, and you and your descendants. I also told Yitzchak, like we read today in chapter number 26, verse number 5, that if he would stay where I told him, I would give him and his descendants all these lands. Then I also told Yaakov that I made with him that I would be with him, and I would increase his descendants and give him the lands. And I will bring him into this land, and I will be his Elohim. I will be with him and his descendants. It's the same one, but I've made that with all three of them. I told every last one of your fathers this, and that's why they were able to tell it to you, because it has been passed on from generation to generation, which is Toledo, okay, to generation after generation. So these names of Yaakov, because laughter, and of him, okay, you see this. Abraham laughed and he had him. Then he, because he pleaded for a son because his wife couldn't have any kids, and then he came because of him. Everything is full circle, okay? And I will remember the land. So the land is part of it, and that's why she needs to be paid back her Shabbats. And he gives us this information and tells us that for the land, meaning a female, Adamah, Adam, which is Adam, and then Adamah, meaning land. It's a feminine. She's a feminine. She will what? She's going to lay abandoned without anybody, like she's going to be desolate, like barren, because she's been afflicted. Like Rivkah, she was barren. Like Sarah, she was barren. And after you lay barren for a while and then abandoned and there's no fruit coming out of it, then Yah says it's going to come a time when it will be paid. She will be paid her Shabbats. She's going to get the rest that she needs. And why she lies desolately without them. Without who's them? The sons of Israel. The daughters of Israel. You understand? The sons and the daughters. The children of Israel. And they will be paid. Who's they? The same them, Israel. They will be paid. The punishment. You're getting paid for your punishment. You're going to pay what you owe. Why? Here it is. Almost done. Why? Because verse 43 says something that you and I have been talking about. There you go. Because Because, do you hear me? That's your teaching today. Because they rejected my rulings and they hated and despised what I said. Forgot how to spell despised. They despised what I said. They hate what I said. They hate my diet. They hate what I told them about the Shabbat. They hate that you can't marry anybody that I told you not to marry. They hate the fact that you can't engage in parties with people that are following gods. They hate me. They hate me. They hate what I said. They hate that I told them to go over here. They don't want to go. So I want you to remember that because of that. That's the reason why we're in a situation we are in. It's because they rejected my rulings and they hated my regulations. Yet, in spite of all that, in spite of your hatred, in spite of your rejection, I will not reject them when they are in the lands of their enemies. That is what you call mercy. That's what you call compassion. That's what you call long suffering, slow to anger. That's what you call forgiving sins and offenses and crimes. That's what, okay. So even though we have to pay for it, you still have to go through the process of him. After the payment for us is saying, if you get through their punishment, then after the forgiveness is, I'll receive you. I won't reject you. I want you guys to hear what I said. I won't reject you. I'm not going to do you like you did me because I'm Elohim. Elohim is not man. So I don't hold grudges. I forgive. I move. I don't. If you've been paid back your punishment, I'm not asking anything else of you, because at that time you've gone through the process, and I've accomplished my vengeance. My covenant has received the vengeance it's supposed to by you being your ancestors being killed, and you guys are upset about me killing all of them. But let's just be clear: you're still alive, so you got a choice. You still got a choice. Yet in spite of all that, I will not reject them when they're in the lands of their enemies. You need to say, praise the Holy One of Israel. Nor will I hate them and despise them to the point of utterly destroying them. Because he has the power to do so. But he says, I'm not going to destroy them. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this because if I did, and thus if I did this, I would be breaking my covenant with them. My covenant with them is, and I will break my covenant with them if I destroy them. If I destroyed you, I will be breaking my covenant. I will break my covenant if I was to destroy them utterly. Because I talk about to the point of utterly destroying. I have destroyed some of them, but not all of them. So I'm still in covenant with the ones that are left. And here's my favorite word for closing again. Because I am Yahweh, their Elohim. You know what his name means now, 34:6. I'm compassionate, loving, long-suffering, forgiving crimes and offenses and all that. I'm their Elohim. That's the covenant. I promise to be your God. I promise to be the one that I said I would be for you. That was my deal. Rather, for their sakes, not for mine, I will remember the covenant. Well, I thought you said you did remember the covenant of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, or Jacob, Ishak, and Abraham. Yeah, and the land, yes, but there's another covenant because I have more than one covenant. My covenant, I will remember the covenant of their ancestors whom I brought out of the land of Mitzrayim. So the covenant that he's talking about here is the one that he made on Mount Sinai, which is called the 10 words. I'm going to remember that. And when I told them these things, when I gave them that and I revealed myself to them, I let them know that I am Yahweh. I said to them, Anoki Yahweh, Beresher the Hotzitika, the Mimrets, the Mitzrayim, the Abdim of the Avadim. Meaning saying that I am Yahweh, your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim. I told you that I'm Yahweh. I already let you know. And what's in my name is redemption. And what's in my name is salvation. And what's in my name is I'm compassionate. So I'm going to remember this covenant that I made with your ancestors and letting you know which one, the ones that I brought out of Egypt. With all the nations, what? Watching. Again, that's that hey. That means beholding, to look. So this is what I'm going to do again. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm going to remember this, and I'm going to do it so all the nations was watching. So that's why I'm mentioning this covenant of Mitzrayim, because all the nations were watching when I did it. Now I'm going to do it again so that I be their Elohim, their power. I am who? I'm Yahweh. I'm the self-existing one. I am the compassionate one. I am the loving one. I'm the one who forgives sins and transgressions. I'm the one who forgives crimes, but I'm also the one who doesn't exonerate the guilty. I will fulfill the punishment of the guilty and yet still be merciful. I'm a just judge. Yes. That's the reason I'm going to do it. I'm only going to do this so the nations that are watching can see that I'm your Elohim. Don't you get it? And this is why I told Moshe, what I'm going to do is going to be wonderful. In the eyes of all the world, we'll be able to see what I'm going to do through you. You understand? I'm sorry for taking you a little deeper in the water today. I want you to don't misunderstand my passion, okay? Do not misunderstand when I'm getting pumped up and juiced up, because I'm going to tell you something. I don't have to believe this, but I honestly know this. We're at the end. We're at the end. We're at the end of this. We're at the heel of the foot. We're not at the toe. We're at the heel. We're at the heel of this now. I mean, something's coming after. Israel has been paid, is being paid. What I learned from Leviticus 26, which you guys can read later on today during your Shabbat, is that Yah has a time frame. Everything is predicated upon balance and is predicated upon that which is just and that which is right. If the land needs to be paid back her Shabbats, the Shabbats that's mentioned is equivalent to what you and I are paid for, because we can't go back to her until she's paid back, until she's been made whole. So our prayer, and we can't expedite this by any means, we have to say, Yahweh, let that time draw near. And may you be glorified, and may you be exalted, and may your name be praised, even by those who don't fully understand and love you. May the land receive her Shabbats. Yahweh, may we recognize that you are our Elohim, and that your mercy and that your forgiveness and your love towards us is correcting us. And we thank you for the affliction, because with the affliction, we're able to understand that it was for a reason. It's because of something. It's because we rejected your laws, your statutes, and your commandments. Our ancestors lived in a way that was faithless. And that doesn't mean imaginary faith like magical. They weren't loyal to you, and they didn't have any fidelity. They didn't honor the vow that they made of marriage to you. They didn't respect you. They didn't do what you asked them. They lied directly to your face and told you that they would do something that they themselves were not willing to do, because they weren't wholehearted with you. They were only in it for what they would get out of it, and they weren't in it because of who you are. Yahweh, may we not be like our ancestors today. May we not take hold of you and pursue you for our own benefit. May we pursue you because of who you are and how righteous you are and how loving you are, how kind you are, and how compassionate you are, and how forgiving you are. We thank you for revealing to us the essence of your name and who you are. We thank you for your prophet Moshe, who spoke to you, Yahweh, and whom you revealed and proclaimed your name to. We're thankful, Yahweh, for him because he came and he pleaded with you not to destroy us. And you didn't destroy us, but you did say that the ones who sinned against you are the ones that you will blot out your book. May we continue to seek you in fear and reverence, fear that causes us to tremble and understand that you are the King of the universe. You're an Elohim that sees, that hears, that smells, that tastes, that touch, because all those things you've given to us, you allowed us to participate, and you've given us those qualities, which are things that you wanted us to use, to see you and to feel you and to smell and to taste, so we can have some part of you to be making judgment calls. We thank you for that, Yahweh. We thank you for calling us to be your sons and your daughters. We thank you for allowing us to join ourselves to you and be bound in cords of love. We know that you love us, and you didn't have to kill anyone innocent for us to recognize that you love us. We thank you that you have told us and instructed us what a true blessing is. We only want that which comes from your hand. We don't want that which comes from the hands of men who can take it away at any time they feel. May you be our master. May we come back and serve you, and may we be underneath you as our King, and may we give our praises to you publicly in front of the world. And may all those who love you bow down and worship you. And may all those who fear you come before you, Yahweh. We are nothing without you. We're nothing but dust and ashes. But we praise you today for being able to proclaim the greatness of your name. And with that being said, I say hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Praise the Holy One of YISRAEL. Hallelujah. Any questions, concerns, statements, contributions? What did you guys think about that lesson?
Hey, can you start from the beginning? I came in late.
Okay, I'm gonna go offline with you guys. 67, you know who you are. Yeah, I hope you guys got something from it. I did. I saw something I've never seen before. I've never seen that about his name, and how when he says, then they'll know that I'm Yahweh. When he says that, it's not just an arbitrary name. It's what's included in his name, which is mercy, compassion, love, and forgiveness, and to the 1,000th generation of those who love him and those who keep his commandments. We know that he's fair. We know that he's just. And so take courage. I'm not trying to discourage anyone. Just take courage today to know that, we do love him, but it's a love that he has for us, that he wants to give us the ability to love him even more. And we're kind of limited right now in our efforts. We can't bring him what he's looking for, and it's discouraging, and it can let you down sometimes. You're like, man, I want to be right with him. And he understands that, but that's what he's causing. He's causing us to have this missing him, he's causing that desire, that yearning. We're yearning for him, and he likes that. He really does. And that's that whole turning back to him with the hearts that we do have. If you can turn back, you can see how Yah will accept a person who turns back to him with an uncircumcised heart. You don't need a circumcised heart to turn back to God. You don't. He says, if you turn back to me, then he says, when I bring you back home, then I'm going to circumcise your heart. So what is he asking us to do? He's saying, listen, just put some motivation behind it. Have a desire towards me. When you get circumcised, it's a cutting away of the uncleanness, because that's what circumcision is. It's to make you clean. So when Yah cuts away that stuff that's on our mind, like the gods that we've been serving and the names that we've been calling on and all that kind of stuff, we're going to be a different type of people. We're really going to be a people that is going to be spectacular. That's going to really make us different from all peoples on the face of the earth. It's going to be one of the greatest things anyone has ever seen. And it's going to be a position and where people are going to desire that so badly. People want to be like super wealthy, and they want to be they wish they can sing like, Aretha Franklin, and they wish they could dance like Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? All those kind of people are going to be absolutely nothing compared to what you and I are going to possess. We're going to possess a attitude and a way of life that people are going to want to be like, and they're going to be like, man, what can? That's why it says in Zechariah, like 10 people are going to take a hold on Yehudim and say, take us to go see this Elohim. We want to go with you. There's going to be this great desire and this yearning for people's lives to be changed. And that can only happen when Yahweh does this work. See, it's the work of his hand. It's not our work. It's his hand. It's our responsibility and duty to say, I'm willing to serve. And we come to that. But right now, you guys, we are just in a situation that we just need Asha to come and to remember his covenant and remember the land and let her be paid back. And may she be paid this Shabbat. May this be her last Shabbat that she needed to be paid. Every Shabbat, let's do that. Every Shabbat, let's say, may this be the last Shabbat that the land has to be paid. Because if that happens, then you and I get to go home. Do you understand that? It's based on time. Yah says, you guys have done this, she got to be paid. So it's been thousands of years. So let her be paid and let us come back. And that's what we need to be pleading with him. Say, please, Yah, let this be the last Shabbat that we spend here. Let us spend it in our land with you. You know, it's like a wife who's committed adultery on her husband and she got put out the house and she has nowhere to go. And her boyfriend, the thing didn't work out. And she finally come to her senses. And I was dumb. I should have just listened. I should have just did what he told me. And I should have been faithful, because he's like, awesome. So let me go back. And she'd be calling him all the time. He's like, look, I'm not ready to talk right now. And she just keeps begging. Then she gets so discouraged, like, forget it, I'm not going to call anymore. If he doesn't leave, over. And then all of a sudden he shows up at the door and says, hey, come on, let's go home. You see? That's what it is. Or the son has been out from his father's presence, living out, just having a hard time in life. And then the father's begging the father to go home. I don't want to go. I don't want to be with my friends anymore. I want to be home. I'm tired of suffering. And you say, no, not yet. Because he's looking for something. And then finally the son says, instead of him saying, I want to come home, he finally says, all right, okay, I was wrong. I did this, I did that. I was stupid. I should have never done this. And I should have done. You got to get some details. So when Yah tells about these misdeeds, he wants you to go through the Torah, find out what they were, and put them on your tongue and say, forgive our misdeeds. No. What did you do? We did sun worship. We sacrificed our babies. We killed our own children. We gave our children to Moloch. We worshiped demons. We did altar on all different types of places. We forged relationships and covenants with people you told us not to. We felt, yeah. Would you say, Aki?
Just celebrating these holidays.
Yeah, we celebrated these holidays. We sat under Christmas trees. We carved ham and we ate filth and go through the list and see what happens. And then you're going to start crying. You're going to be like, oh my goodness, look at all the stuff we've done. And you're going to boo-hoo it. And you're really going to boo-hoo it because you're going to be like, man, how blind. And then start for not just yourself and your family, but the whole entire house of Israel. Everybody is suffering, you guys. It's not just us. It's the world is suffering too because Israel hasn't done what Yah says. They're waiting for us. They're going to get punished, of course, but they're waiting for us to stand up and do the job that Yah wants us to do, and everybody will live happily ever after. And that's the truth. Those who don't follow, they're going to be put down. That's just part of it. So let's enjoy our lives while we have our lives, and let's seek the Holy One of Israel while we have an opportunity to do so. That's what I say to you on this Shabbat. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Praise be to the Holy One. Anyone else? Good to see you, Sister Claudia. Good to see you, Sister Renee. Good to see you, Sasha. Good to see you guys.
Nice being online.
Yeah, tell Aki, my brother, that I said I love him and I miss him.
Will do.
Well. Okay. Good to see everybody.
Good lesson.
Oh, thank you so much, Sister Renee. Thank you. All right. Anyone else? That's it. You guys
Yes,
have,
good
you guys,
lesson. Thank you.
thank you. Thank you, Okoti. Thank you, Jared. Good to have you. Good to see you guys. Thank you, Ted. All right, Ted, Gennaro. I'll see everyone.
All right. Shalom.
Shalom.